What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dirtyshore Underground. Tonight's review of Walking Dead, a little bit different. You don't see Rob to my right, as per usual. But you do hear his voice. As I've been made well aware of, we can hear his voice. So,
Disembodied voice. I guess ghosts and zombies aren't exactly the same thing, but I'm now haunting your place.
So Rob, do you want to hit him with the links real quick, and then we'll jump into...
Of course, as always, make sure you're going to DirtyShoreUnderground.com. You listen to the podcast every Thursday. Bonus episodes of the podcast Monday or Tuesday. Very special episode tonight. It's the season finale, obviously, of The Walking Dead. But we are going to go more in-depth along with our full show this week on Thursday. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you're following at Dirtyshore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's where you get all the latest news and all the updates, including links to the live stream, which is always available at youtube.com/C/Dirtyshore UG-OTA. We live stream every single podcast, even the ones where I'm not even there. And you can comment, scroll down to the bottom to the comment section, join in on the conversation. Kenny is there, he'll read out the comment, ask your questions, make your comments, join in on the conversation.
We already got a really big comment coming in from Jake Keaton. He says it, Carl, as Negan said, take it like a man, basically beating some maturity and showing Rick what he is made of.
It couldn't be, well, before we dive into that, spoiler alert, we are going to be discussing the season finale of The Walking Dead. If you haven't seen the season finale, stop right here, go watch it, come back. We're also going to be talking about the full season. We'll talk about the comics. We'll talk about Fear of the Walking Dead. It's all on the table. So if this is your spoiler warning, if you get spoiled after this, it's your own fault. So it can't be Carl, because Negan specifically says if anybody moves the video eggs to sound, carve out the kid's other eye and feed it to his papa. So it can't be Carl.
And we got a few players on the table that it could be. I felt a little bit relieved when Eugene was in that lineup.
Right.
But now I'm not so sure, and we got to wait 6 months to find out.
Right, so here's what I'm going to tell you. Let's go through the cast of characters. Who could it be? It can't be Carl, and it can't be Rick, because you know that those two have been eliminated by further reference to other people. So really, anybody else there it could be.
Yep.
Except for the angle in which they're looking at Negan would suggest it was somebody on the right side of the circle, which would be Glenn, Michonne, Daryl, Abram, or Maggie. So my guess it is one of them, and of course I'm sticking with #Team Daryl. Daryl's the one who died.
You're sticking with Daryl?
I know I have a different role, but he is no longer going to be
Him as Abraham kneels high up to Negan, and Negan takes it disrespectfully.
I think, though, that Negan treated it with a lot of respect. And if I was Negan, which I think I can identify with Negan more than a lot of other people, I would say, that's the guy I want. If I can break him, he will be my workhorse. So I don't go for Negan. I go for somebody else. Now, keep in mind, we know a lot about these characters. We look at Glenn and we see a fighter. We look at Daryl, we see a fighter. We look at Michonne, we see a fighter. But if you're Negan, all you see are these bitches who got themselves called.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if I'm picking somebody out of there, people I don't pick Rick because he's clearly a fighter. I don't pick Abraham because he's clearly a fighter. Because as you said, the future serial killer, I think Negan sees somebody he can groom in Carl. Maggie, I think that he's got a soft spot for women. That's why I don't think it's Michonne, and I don't think it's Maggie.
Okay.
So, who's left? Glenn, Daryl, Abraham.
Yep.
Sorry, Abraham's on the table. So Glenn and Daryl are really the two that are left. Eugene, but again, I think the angles are wrong for that.
They said, well, Flash said, I think that makes sense of it being Eugene. He gave up his biggest asset, how to make bullets. He's useless to the group now.
anything. I mean, there's still plenty of, it would be more disheartening to the fans to lose Glenn or Daryl than it would be to lose Eugene.
Flash says, is it terrible that I'm more pissed that I don't know who won the Deadpool?
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, I am a man of my word, and Kenny, I owe you $1. Also, to be fair, Negan did not appear within the first 60 minutes. He didn't appear until 1 hour and 12 minutes into this episode, but that's okay.
In all fairness, we also didn't know it was going to be an hour and a half until after last weekend.
So after you, let me explain this to
I'll settle on 50
you
cents.
want to listen to that audio.
What?
So you, just for everybody who's listening, you heard that leaked audio of the last 11 minutes.
Yep.
Why would you want to listen to it?
Because even if I hear spoilers, I'll still watch it. And
But it's an audio visual. The visual is part of it. Why would you want to listen without the visual? Just to do it.
well, well, it could be an ADHD thing. When I was listening to the audio, I could see it in my head, and it played out the same way it did in my head.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, I did start reading book 3, and I got that far into it, which isn't all that far.
Right.
So I kind of had the notion of what was going to happen, and visuals, and I couldn't find out until next season.
Well, and if you saw that, I guess, I don't know how you could get that from audio cues. I think if I had asked you that beforehand, you wouldn't be able to tell me that. But that's what I got before ahead of time. To me, I would never do that.
Oh, come on! I read the first 2 versions of the Deadpool script.
True. You read them before you watched it?
Before they even started shooting it.
Yeah. See, well, and again, I like to enjoy finished product. I don't understand why everyone has this need to know what's going to happen before somebody else. I'm just like, yeah, let me just see it.
Because I still enjoy it. Because I forget things so easily, I can still easily be entertained by something I've already read about or seen. I mean, come on, I watched fucking How I Met Your Mother back to back.
I guess.
Like, I've watched the 9 seasons probably 4 times so far this year.
Well, all right, so, aside from that, who is your guess about who it is?
I'm still gonna stick with Glenn.
Really?
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be Glenn at this point, but I'm still gonna stick with Glenn. Because I feel like if it,
all that aside, who do you think it's gonna be then?
I think if it's not him, they'll either, because they obviously did it because they're not sure who they want to kill yet.
Do you think that's why they did it?
I think that's why they did it that way. Well, outside of them leaving us with a major fucking cliffhanger, that's why they did it. They're not 100% sure on who to kill yet.
So, oh man, I mean, I didn't even think about that maybe this is buying them time to figure out who is the one who's going to die.
That gives them like another 2 months before they start shooting again.
Right, yeah, so they could really just change the whole script and decide somebody else died.
Yep. And it's hard to say because with the Walking Dead page on Facebook, they keep putting things up about everybody's rooting for Daryl and shit.
Yeah.
And then during The Walking Dead, we see a trailer for a show with Norman Reedus in it, with him riding bikes and whatnot, I guess.
For the reason it's definitely Daryl,
right?
by the way.
Take a Shower Stanky says, Negan does harm women. He threatened several women with death. His group looked like wimps while they were whistling. Jake...
So, Negan threatens everybody with death.
Hold on.
He's not... Go ahead.
We actually got a bunch of comments coming in tonight.
Go ahead.
Jake says he doesn't like to harm women or children. Flash said, which is why he saved Carl. Jake says, I think it's Abel. Abraham? Was he trying to say Abraham?
Abraham, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Negan's character doesn't really do the women and children thing. He threatens everybody, but he doesn't harm women and children if he can help it. So, yeah, that's why I don't think that any of the women are on the table. And with Maggie, you have women and children all wrapped up into one.
Yeah.
Although, here's an interesting thought. If she loses a baby, does that baby become a zombie that then eats its way out of her?
Baby zombie.
I mean, it's like, you know, the Day of the Dead style, or what is it?
Dawn of the
Which
Dead.
one is that one?
Dawn of the Dead when they were in the mall.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah. I mean, I figure that might be what happens, who knows?
It's about the season 7 is going to be real interesting. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I mean, Maggie obviously isn't that pregnant, so she's got something going on. And we have the cliffhanger about who's going to die. So much stuff going on.
Jake says Abraham has been portrayed as a major character lately, and with him leading the group with Rick.
Which I think is getting back to the comics, right? Up and until the arrow through the head.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, part of me says Abraham dying now and bringing that part of the comics and the TV show together makes sense.
Here's what I look at it like. For the worst case possible scenario, first half of season 7, we don't find out who the fuck died.
No, there's no way. People will riot if they don't answer that in the first episode.
We get a bunch of flashbacks, and when it is in town, we hear anything about Glenn or Daryl, because they're the two biggest ones to Flashes have.
I mean, there's no way we go the first episode without finding out who died.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time something like that happened, though.
Well, here's an interesting thought, because it just occurred to me. I wonder if they knew that Glenn was going to survive. Do you think that they shot both of them, Glenn dying and Glenn living, and then decided, based on how we reacted, which one to actually put on TV?
That's possible too. The blood from the first person view was a nice touch, though.
Yes, dripping down. Yeah.
And Jake says so. His lineup is Abraham, Daryl, and possibly Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the only viable options, but I don't think that if I'm Negan, I take out Abraham. He looks like too valuable of an asset, and Negan is all about assets. He would keep everyone alive. He only kills one to send the message that you need to follow me, or I'll kill all of you.
But if you look at it like that, then you're not killing off Daryl neither, because he has a lot to offer.
No, but Negan doesn't know that. We know that because we see it. He looks like a dirtball who got captured by dumbass Dwight. So, to Negan, he doesn't look like anything. He looks weak.
Jake says, I think Carol and Morgan come in on horseback and fuck shit up. And they all walk away.
That's an interesting point. What's going to go on with Carol and Morgan?
Morgan's going to try to put somebody in his jail cell. Maybe.
Well, first of all, they are way off the reservation right now. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? How are they even going to get back in that case?
I have no idea. I mean, going off the comics, I know what the first episode of season 7 is probably going to end up being like.
Right.
And it'll probably be somewhere in the second half of the episode we find out who actually died.
Yeah. Hey, hang on for me 1 second, all right? Hey, can you tell them about Oasis Vapor, will you?
Yep. So everybody, if you vape, you're in the Eastern Shore area of Maryland, go check out Oasis Vapor, 601D North 6th Street in Denton, Maryland. As you can see, every week we are always vaping. She's got a vape back here somewhere. We always vape. Get off the cigarettes, start vaping. It's good all the time. And this part's going to have to be cut out at this point, because now I don't know what to say. Buy Rob's books. You've read one of Rob's books. How do you like Rob's books? No? You're not partaking?
No.
Flash has Rob's books. I think you've read more than any of us as far as the books go. But Jake, yes, you were. Hold on, Jake.
We were going to have to make that part of the conversation. Flash finally finished Foe. So we're going to have to maybe get Karina and Flash together and talk about Foe.
I'll have to reread it.
Karina says she has to reread it. Jake said Negan doesn't know anything about the group other than who they are, so why wouldn't he pick whoever the fuck he wants? Then he says,
It's based on what you see.
Yeah.
Who's there? We know Rick's the leader, and he knows that Carl's a little sociopath who's capable of becoming another Negan, and Abraham looks like a fucking brick shithouse. So those are the three that I say I'm keeping those guys. And then on top of that, we have Miss Shows, who's a woman, and Maggie, who's a woman. And I know just from picking that up that he doesn't like to hurt women and children. So
but
that's process of elimination. Eugene would still be in there, but I think the camera angle is wrong for Eugene. It has to be somebody on the right-hand side of that semicircle. So it's got to be, either Daryl or Glenn, really.
But shit, I already forgot the fuck I was saying. God damn it. It slipped my mind that quick.
Well, no, so let's go back. So Carol and Morgan are way off the reservation.
Yep.
Morgan has killed a human. Who is this guy? I don't recognize him.
The one that was laying on the ground in the street?
No, I mean, I recognize that guy, but I don't recognize Morgan. He was the I'm not killing anybody anymore, but just exactly like Carol said, when you care for somebody, you're willing to kill for them.
Yep.
And that's what happened. So she left. We found out at least why she left. She left for that reason, because she didn't want to hurt anybody anymore.
So what?
I think she killed more people after she left than she did while she was there.
Probably. But did they look at the flowers first?
Well, and she didn't actually kill them, I guess. She just wounded a lot of people and took their cigarettes.
Yeah. She should have been taking baits from people.
Point. We have now seen how many saviors there are. There are a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
What's going on in Alexandria right now, do you think?
I think right now they're all worried about what's going on. I'm kind of wondering if anybody let Enid out of the fucking closet throughout that entire day. Did it span? After Carl locked their ass in there.
Well, you gotta think somebody would go in there to get something and would hear her, or she'll bust the door down. I think that was just a temporary solution to keep her in there while they left. And probably good for her that he did, you know?
Mm-hmm. Jake says, who was the guy they put on the floor to threaten Rick and the group?
Alright, so, what I took from that, Carol was hiding in a library. And I took from that these people in the library stood up to Negan and his people, and they paid for that by getting butchered, basically. And they saved the last one to try and show Rick and his people what for, and to try and threaten them with this other person who they didn't know.
Good point.
So, I mean, I think that, obviously it didn't work very well. And I got some problems with the chain drop from the overpass, because it would have snapped his neck. He wouldn't have stayed alive. But Corey was pointing out a lot of problems. What did you think about the special effects this episode?
A little bit off on some aspects.
Did you like the fire looked a little fake and just like stuff didn't seem like it was put together quite right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. It just seemed like everything was a little off.
Which is okay, because they've had a lot of big scenes this season, so they're probably by the time they got to the last episode, there probably wasn't much left on the budget.
Well, either that or they changed the script and they redid a bunch of stuff to try and change kind of the outcome.
Well, Jake asked, how do you guys think season 7 will pan out? Will Rick and company agree to do a deal with Negan? Flash said, fuck no. Flash says, Rick needs to be the top dog. He won't be anyone's bitch, pun intended.
I don't know. I would like to think that Rick and his people will never bow down, but watching somebody get their head bashed in right in front of you does wonders for getting people to do what you want them to do.
Can I dive into the comics slightly without pissing everybody off?
Do not spoil shit. I will punch you in the face.
You can't do that through the phone.
I know where you live.
You can't do that through the phone.
It will make me hang up the phone right now.
Alright, I won't do it. Damn it. It's not like a huge...
I can assume, and knowing obviously nothing about the comics from here forward, or at all really, that Rick does need to be the top dog. And even if he tells Negan that he is conceding, it will not be really conceding, and it will not be the end of the day anyway. There will always be more. There's always more fights to be had.
Yep, and if you'd let me give a mild spoiler...
No. I don't get this whole thing. Why do you need to know what happens in it? Just enjoy it while it happens.
Because as you said, just because it happens in the
You know what happens in the comics.
Right.
But in the end, that doesn't control anything for the show.
Right, so what... So...
Daryl's not even in the comics, and he's one of the characters we're talking about being killed in this episode.
So what's it hurt if I mention one little thing from the comics?
Because then I'm going to not enjoy it as much because I'm going to be thinking about that. And I don't understand people's desire to just ruin. Why would you want to ruin the way somebody else enjoys an episode? That's why we do a spoiler alert so people can know. If you're going to watch it, you need to stop now because we're going to ruin it for you. Even if you can watch it, the things that you learn, you can never unlearn. So if you were to say, Rick is going to get his head bashed in, the next episode of the comic after this one is when Rick dies. Even if Rick doesn't die, I'll just be waiting for that to happen because I know that the story is eventually going to go in a different direction. It changes the way you enjoy things, so there's no need to do any of that. Just everybody chill the fuck out. Just enjoy shit for what it is.
You know, the real fun of all this is really just me knowing stuff from the comics and then, saying it like that, and then you just sitting there saying you'll punch me in the face if I say anything about the comics.
Here's the thing. I had more than one message from somebody during the episode about an hour and 10 minutes in who said, holy shit, you would not be the governor. You would totally be Negan. People who never saw the comics, who just are experiencing the show, and only the show. And I can tell you for certain, having now experienced some Jeffrey Dean Stanton's Negan, I would absolutely be Negan. If you want to fuck with a guy who is capable of that, then certainly continue. Continue on, sir.
I don't know. I think the governor still scares me a little bit more than Negan at this point.
For what we've seen, yes.
Because Negan has that nice guy, or fucking the governor has that nice guy appeal to him, and then he gets real vicious out of nowhere. Negan's just straightforward with his, somebody's gonna die.
Well, the cold and calculated nature of it, I think, although it doesn't come off as well dramatically, is definitely scarier if you were to experience it in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the question is, are we talking about a real life experience, or are we talking about this actual performance piece? But, I mean, and Negan, the other thing is, why would you waste so much time and so many resources on impressing these fucking people? Just, the first time they pull up to the roadblock, blow the tires out, and you're done. And then have Negan show up. He doesn't have to come out of the goddamn RV. You don't have to put on a goddamn show. I don't get it. Come on, man. You're better than that. But the writers have a flair for the dramatic, I suppose.
I can't scroll up in the comments. Jake's pointing up.
Oh, we have more comments?
Dude, we have 38 comments.
So, give me some. What are we working with?
Damn it. It scrolled again. Most current one is from Flash. Negan is like Trump. If it's his following that's terrifying.
Which is why I would be so good at being Negan in a real apocalypse.
See, I would peg you as more of a Rick.
Listen, I see Rick and there are bits of him that I am impressed with, but that entire last scene, he looked like he was on the verge of tears. And I was thinking, you know, when Carl, when Negan was down in Carl's face, and he was like, you're not even going to cry a little bit? I was like, if I was sitting there in a situation, I'd be like, you know, have you ever heard the story of Xerxes and his invasion of Greece? And the moral of that story is even gods can bleed. And I would have lurched forward and headbutted him just to break his nose. If somebody's going to die, just kill me and I'll make you bleed, and then I'll have that last little bit of laughter.
Jake said, and did you guys see how many saviors were there? Even if Rick and company were to pull something off, it would be devastating for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. This is why I know they're going to cut a deal, or he's going to at least say, I agree to do what you want. Because that's the only way they get out of their lives. There's too many of them. The numbers are too... there's no way to get out of that situation without saying, okay, I concede.
I can't say nothing to that or you'll punch me in the face.
Yeah, so anyway, so what are the comments? Do we have any other comments coming through?
Jake says, I don't think there is a way out for the group. Flash says, Rick has the weakness of family. Rob doesn't do that shit.
Damn right. I am totally of the mentality of Carol to say don't keep people around you, because all it does is open you up to weakness. So
that is something else and a half, ain't it?
you gotta watch out for the family. It's when you start caring about people, that's just creating someone that someone can use against you. So if you keep all those people at bay and there's nobody but you, then you get to be the Joker from The Dark Knight. Like, you have nothing to use against me. You have nothing to threaten me with. It's just you trying to be a badass, and that doesn't scare me. So what are you gonna do? I just laugh at it. And like that is my ideal for how you can really, really be a sociopath, really be a psychopath, is to not have anyone that anyone can use against you. It's just you, and they have to deal with you, and if you don't care, then you're at the edge. And that's what Negan is. He just doesn't give a shit about anyone or anything, and nothing will ever change that.
Right. Although, didn't you say last week Negan looks at them like they're the actual bad guys?
What do you mean?
Negan looks at it at a point that Rick's group is actually the bad guys because they're going around killing everybody.
Oh, I think in a way, Negan is defending his people. I mean, I certainly can see that aspect of it, that in his mind, he is defending his people. And he even says that, you know, you killed my people, and then I sent people to kill you because you killed my people, and you killed more of my people, and I just can't have that.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that in his mind, it's justifiable because our crew is a threat, so...
Our crew is a threat. Regardless of whoever dies in 6 months.
What's that?
I said regardless of whoever dies in 6 months.
Exactly right, yeah. And, I mean, I guess the problem is you won't have any real answers until then.
Which really fucking sucks.
Yeah, yeah. But what sucks more is that I have a 6 a.m. wake-up call, and it is almost midnight here on the East Coast.
Yes, it is.
So, I think we can get into a lot more detail when I'm there in person, while I'm there for everybody, make sure you're following at Dirtyshore UG on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. It's a great way to make sure that you're up on the latest news and information, including when we're going to be recording, so you can join us for the live show that posts every Thursday at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. Of course, we always live stream on YouTube at youtube.com/C/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. And of course, you can always comment and you can always ask questions. Become part of the podcast. I'm exhausted and I'm about to get out of this car and get into a hotel and get some sleep.
And one more thing before we go.
Yeah.
Next week we get back into Fear of the Walking Dead, and we seen the fucking plane from the miniseries in the preview for next week.
And I was going to say, I want to dive into that on the full episode, too, about how they've now woven this web series into the actual series. I think that's fantastic. I love that we are back in the golden era of TV, so I want to make sure we touch on that this week.
Alrighty.
So do we have any closing comments? Anybody have anything there that they just really got to get off their chest tonight?
I think we'll hold the rest of our comments for Thursday's podcast, because I have a feeling with as much left that there is to be said, Thursday's podcast will probably touch down more on Walking Dead.
Alright, sounds great. So guys, thank you all for joining us. Again, DirtyShoreUnderground.com, new episodes every Thursday, bonus episodes every Monday or Tuesday. Thank you so much for sticking with us for bonus episodes all through this season and putting up with our interesting arrangement tonight. And I do want to say a special thank you to everyone who checked out Birdland Radio today. Corey and I from the Odeonta podcast were on Birdland Radio, and we got so much great support. It was fantastic, so thank you guys so much.
Jake said thanks for answering his questions, guys. Enjoyed a long 7 months. Adios. Thank you, Jake, for joining us tonight. Please come back for Fear the Walking Dead. Join us in the 6 to 7 months for The Walking Dead Return.
Absolutely. And every single week at DirtyShoreUnderground.com.
Yes. Always something different.
Go ahead.
Always something different.
Always something different. Well, this week, though, is going to be a lot of preview of Fear the Walking Dead and review of The Walking Dead. So, looking forward to that. So, and I'm also looking forward to being well rested and back in the studio there with you.
And I'm sure we'll touch on the ranch. I don't know if you made it to through the 10 episodes or not, but
Through what now?
the ranch.
No, I haven't. I have not, but I will work on that this week as well.
Yep. I noticed this at part 1, so it tells me they did 10 episodes and they got another so many for this first season, so that's kind of cool.
All right, man. Yeah. So we'll talk about that this Thursday.
Alrighty.
All right. So again, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing along with us throughout the season. And as far as these bonus episodes are concerned, we will see you in October. But until then, we'll see you next week for Fear the Walking Dead. And until then, have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Oh, shit. Well, at least nobody had to fucking cry tonight.
Yeah.